Welcome to Conscious Living, where being conscious is the key to survival living. I'm your host, Jabari Heru Simba, and on this visual podcast channel, I discuss topics that have direct or indirect impact on the African people and the African community as a whole. Dua. Thank you for subscribing and sharing the content with the intent and goal to be part of the solution for African people and the world. Now, with that out the way, let's get today's show started. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm solo today. Now, this is part 2 of a continuation from Say Her Name, okay? Where I had my divine guest, Zini Boss, on the first part of the episode. So, you know, we're actually if you, and I'm going to go ahead and suggest, look at part 1 to see what I'm talking about. I mean, it was fireworks, baby. I mean, we got into some, as he called it, and I agree, deep conversation. Okay. So I want to kind of set that for another part that will be coming real soon. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. And again, if you haven't seen part 1 of that awesome podcast with my divine guest, Zini Boss, y'all need to go check it out. And for the record, do y'all think he will make a good co-host? I mean, our energy is, if y'all ain't noticed, it's incredible. You know what I'm saying? It matches like yin and yang. You know what I mean? So I might be in the you know, the works for looking for a co-host. So let me know if you think his energy matches mine and he make a good co-host. You know, so let me know that. So I want to, on part 2, I want to kind of pick up where, you know, we were headed in that direction. And so we're talking about the young lady who, you know, unfortunately lost her life, a ridiculous situation. Her name was Sonya Massey. Let's say her name, Sonya Massey. Okay. And so and I know, you know, again, as I said on part 1, that this has been regurgitated so many times, but at the same time, what I want to touch on that I didn't hear a lot of people touching on is the fact that mental health is an issue. Mental health is an issue for our people, the black people in general. It's an issue for us. Okay. I'm talking about black people. I'm talking about African people. I'm talking about the black community. We don't like to talk about depression. We don't like to talk about anxiety. We don't like to talk about mental issues because we've been conditioned to look at that as a weakness. We've been conditioned to look at it as normal. It ain't normal by any standards or any means. And it's definitely not normal to hold this pain or this discomfort in. It's not. Okay. And I know sometimes we feel, you know, I don't want to be a burden to somebody. I don't want to be a burden to talk to this person, to talk to that person. So we keep a lot of stuff inside and not knowing that keeping it inside is just a bomb waiting to explode. Your fuse, after a while, that fuse is going to get shorter and shorter and to the point of igniting and blowing up, and it'll take just one person, one situation, and they get the short end of their stick. And I mean, everything you've been holding back and holding in, that person is now taking all of it. So it's dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. It's dangerous. All of my beautiful, divine black brothers and sisters, it is dangerous to hold it in, okay? So I kind of want to touch on that topic, okay? All of my beautiful, divine, melanated females, all of my black sisters, it's not normal. It's not healthy to hold it in. And this was the case with Sonya Massey. So I want to kind of touch on that mental health issue amongst the black community because nobody was really talking about it. It was more about the black and white thing. And like I said, it is an issue, but okay, mental health for us is an issue too. Okay. Especially when the oppressor has caused a lot of it. And now we've been conditioned to think that it's just normal and it's not. All right. So I just want to kind of give a recap to get to my point where I'm trying to get to. So I want to talk about some information according to Copilot. It says that Sonya Massey called 911 because she was afraid there might be a prowler outside her home. Tragically, she was shot in the face by a white sheriff's deputy in Springfield, Illinois, during a tense moment over a pot of water. You heard me correct, ladies and gentlemen. A pot of water. Whether it was boiling or not, it's a pot of water. I boil water almost every day, and I've never been threatened by a boiling pot of water. Somebody let me know if you've ever been threatened by a boiling pot. You just walk in your kitchen and be like, oh, Jesus, a boiling pot of water. I'm going to die today. Somebody let me know if you've ever been threatened over a pot of water. The incident occurred on July 6, 2024. and has raised significant concerns about police response to mental health crisis and use of force. In the days leading up to her death, Massey had made multiple 911 calls for mental health crisis. Are y'all listening to me? Why would she had, listen, the days leading up to her death, she made multiple 911 calls for mental health crisis, including one where she reported that a neighbor had thrown a brick at her and broken her car window. The case had drawn attention to the need for better handling of mental health emergencies and de-escalation techniques in law enforcement interactions. Now, here is information according to WTTW News. 2 emergency response calls were made from the home of Sonya Massey, the black woman who was shot in the face by an Illinois sheriff's deputy who was white after she called 911 for help. In the days leading up to her death, according to records released Wednesday, in a third call, Massey's mother, Donna Massey, reports that her daughter is suffering a mental breakdown and tells the dispatcher, "I don't want you guys to hurt her." She adds that she fears the police and asks that no officer who is prejudiced be sent. Before I go on, ladies and gentlemen, I want to stop right there. And I'm not going to sit here and knock on the mama. I'm not going to do that. Because I don't know if she tried to help her daughter with her mental issue outside of, the daughter taking it to her own initiative to call the police to try to handle her mental health crisis or mental health issues. My thing is, did she have any family that she could call on? Did she have any family that she could call on, somebody who she will feel more comfortable with, knowing that she feared police, but she's calling the very thing that she feared? So it makes me think, did you have anyone else, or was that your only opportunity, or did you burn your bridges? I don't know unless I talk to the other family. I'm just assuming here, and I'm being kind of light with that, but I'm just showing you that we need to be in a position, black family, my black community, we need to be in a position where we can have someone who can be accountable for us. We need to get back into the habit of being accountable for each other. Well, better you than me. I ain't got nothing to do with that. No, in my belief and in my culture, what affects one black person affects us all. And that includes me. I put myself in. I sure do. What affects you, brothers and sisters, affects me too. It affects me too. I love all of you. Even the ones that's got mental issues, even the ones that's got serious identity crisis, even the ones that don't know who they are, even the ones that look at me through the eyes of a white person. I love you, and nobody can do nothing about it, not even yourself. We have to keep black problems in the black community and start taking accountability for each other once more. That's what I'm talking about. I'm from the days where you had elders. You didn't want to act right, you go to the elder and let them deal with you. I guarantee you'll be coming back acting right. Yeah, we need that. We really do. All right, so I want to continue going on with what we were talking about here. So now it says here, that was the information that I just talked about was WTTW News, okay? So it says in the other calls, a woman calling from Sonia Massey's address who doesn't identify herself says people want to hurt her, and a day later, a woman identifying herself as Sonya Massey reports a neighbor had hit her with a brick. The Sangamon County Sheriff's Department is still trying to determine whether Massey's history of mental health issues was relayed to deputies responding to the call about a suspected prowler, which ended in her death on July 6. Former Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, 30 years of age, who is white, is charged with first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct in the shooting death of Massey, who was 36 years of age at her time of death, in her home. He has pleaded not guilty and is being held without bond. Also, Wednesday, Sheriff Jack Campbell released Grayson's personal file in response to public records requests, with records leading up to his May 1st, 2023 hire to his dismissal on July 17th, the day he was indicted. It confirms what was previously known, that Campbell was aware of Grayson's 2 drunk driving convictions within a year. within a year, ladies and gentlemen, the first of which led to his premature discharge from the Army. Buddy got a drinking problem. So he's serving for mental issues himself, which Europeans are mentally and emotionally unstable. They are. It's in their DNA. They will go from 0 to 60. You don't believe me? Just this maybe last year, and you can even, I was talking to town, downtown Louisville, Kentucky, or downtown Kentucky. There was an incident where a white man got fired from his job. I think they accused him of stealing or something like that. And I was actually going to downtown to handle some business, and I was told, hey, you don't want to go down there. There's an active shooter right now. Yeah, he went to work the next day after being fired and having a shootout with the police. Ended up shooting one cop in the head, if I'm not mistaken, but he's surviving. He survived. And yeah, he pretty much went on a suicide mission.
Breaking news, the images just in from police in Louisville from outside and inside that Louisville bank. The deadly mass shooting at the Old National Bank. And tonight we have learned the 25-year-old suspect, a bank employee. Police say he bought his AR-15 less than a week before the shooting. The newly released body camera video showing rookie officer Nicholas Wilt here just 10 days after graduating from the academy, racing to the scene, then shot in the head. And the officer training him, climbing the bank stairs, heading toward the gunfire, taking down the gunman. Surveillance images showing the suspect with his newly purchased AR-15. Authorities say he killed 5 of his co-workers. Tonight, their names and faces here. Josh Barrick, a father of 2 small children. Deanna Eckert's father, calling her good and sweet and generous. Tommy Elliott, a dear friend to the governor and mayor and to that community. Juliana Farmer, just 3 weeks on the job. And Jim Tutt, who loved to sail his boat with his son. And tonight, still in critical condition, that rookie officer, Nicholas Wilt, who answered that call yesterday. It was just his 4th shift since starting the job. We warn you, the images are difficult. And ABC's Trevor Ault leading us off again tonight in Louisville.
Tonight, a disturbing first-person view as Louisville police officers raced to stop the gunman in Monday's deadly bank shooting. The shooter setting up an ambush in the front lobby. Rookie officer Nicholas Wilt and his field training officer Corey Galloway taking fire as they pull up.
Stop right here. Back up, back up, back up, back up.
But still running toward the gunfire up the stairs to the bank entrance when Officer Wilt is shot. Officer Galloway also grazed by a bullet, finding cover.
He's shooting straight through these windows, right towards the officer.
Then returning fire, killing the suspect.
I think I got him down. I think he's down. Suspect down. Get the officer.
Authorities releasing these body camera videos late today. The entire incident lasting just 9 minutes, but there were more than a dozen casualties.
They're emotionally unstable. Okay. Campbell said DUIs do not disqualify a candidate, and that Grayson's rapid succession of jobs, 5 and 4 years before joining the Sangamon department, showed admirable ambition to advance to larger and more structured departments. The sheriff said he knew of no previous discipline problems. References indicating Grayson needed more training are common for young recruits, and Grayson subsequently attended 16 weeks of academy training, Campbell said. Grayson's March 31st, 2023 psychological evaluation found him fit to serve, but noted, watch this, ladies and gentlemen, he knows he can move too fast at times. He needs to slow down to make good decisions. That means that he makes decisions impulsively. He makes them impulsively like he did during the altercational confrontation with Sonya Massey. Body camera video shows that after checking yards around the home just before 1 a.m. on July 6, Massey greeted the deputies at the front door with, "Don't hurt me," appeared confused and repeated, "Please God," inside her home on the southeast side of Springfield. She had trouble finding her ID and asked for her Bible. Following Grayson's direction to remove a pot of water from the stove, because I guess to him it was a threat, she unexpectedly said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And this was caught on his body cam now, okay? "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Grayson then pulled his gun and yelled at her to drop the presumably hot water before firing 3 times, striking her below the left eye. Ladies and gentlemen, again, you better be careful with a boiling pot of water, and you better not say, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," if you ever call police to your house, Don't use these words because evidently it can cause you your life as a black person. 3 shots. My thing is, why didn't you pull out your taser? If you felt threatened, why go for your gun? You came with the intentions. There's your impulsive behavior acting out right there. But you were fit to be what you thought you wanted to be. Okay. The personnel file includes the results of the internal investigation that led to Grayson's dismissal, indicating that he violated rules on use of force, on use of force and standards of conduct, failed to turn on his body camera, or to provide medical aid in insubordination for refusing to answer questions during the investigation's interview, even after a superior ordered him to. Grayson immediately escalated to deadly force based on the descendant stating, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Because she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," that escalated from non-confrontational deadly force to confrontational deadly force based on her saying that. Wow. Chief Deputy Anthony Mayfield wrote, when Deputy Grayson pointed his firearm at the descendant, she was not making any aggressive movements, only talking. Grayson's failure to attempt nonviolent strategies and techniques or to communicate led to Massey's death, Mayfield said. Family members have said Massey struggled with mental health issue and had undergone treatment. Her son, Malachi Hill Massey, said last week that his mother sent him and his sister to live with their fathers the first week of July because she had checked herself into a 30-day inpatient treatment program, then returned 2 days later. Shortly before 9:30 p.m., July 4th, a 911 caller from Massey's address said, "Somebody's trying to hurt me." When the dispatcher asked who, she said, "A lot of them." They pressed for more information, and when they did that, she said, "Never mind. This must not be the right number," and disconnected. When called back, she said she no longer needed police. Officials do not know if it was Massey who called. The next morning, just after 9 a.m., Donna Massey called saying her daughter was outside the house and yelling. She said Sonya Massey is not a danger to anyone, but when she gets upset, she thinks everybody's after her, like, a paranoid schizophrenic. She told the dispatcher she fears the police and didn't want her daughter to be hurt. "Please don't send no combative policemen that are prejudiced," Donna Massey said. Springfield police who took the call reported that Massey did not want to talk to medical professionals, but was checked by emergency medical technicians who cleared her. Sonia Massey called a few hours later to report a neighbor had hit her with a brick. A sheriff's deputy caught up to her at a hospital where the dispatch record says she went to seek treatment of her mental state. Not, a result of being hit by a brick, but to seek treatment of her mental state. She told the officer the neighbor used a brick to break her SUV's window and that she herself broke another in an attempt to get into the car to get away. The deputy noted Massey appeared to be having mental health problems and was seeking treatment for scrapes she sustained reaching through the broken glass. She told the officer she had recently been released from a mental health facility and claimed that earlier that day she was out with police who attempted to run her off the road. The officer said Massey also had paperwork from a July 3rd interaction with the mental health mobile crisis unit from another Springfield hospital. 12 hours later, when Grayson and the second deputy responded to the July 6th call and were searching her yard, body camera video indicates they noticed the broken windows on the SUV and asked Massey if it is hers, which she denies. Sonya Massey was a 36-year-old black woman who was shot by a police officer in her own home on July 6, 2024. The incident occurred during an early morning encounter with deputies from the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office in Illinois. When 2 sheriff's deputies arrived at her door, Massey, dressed in her pajamas, nervously implored, "Please don't hurt me." We seen that she's saying this in several of the accounts that I'm giving to you. Deputy Sean Grayson reassured her, saying, "I don't want to hurt you. You called us." Less than 30 minutes later, Grayson shot Massey in the head, leaving her dead on her kitchen floor. And we know the reason again was because he was threatened by a boiling pot of water or a pot of water on the stove. And because she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," these things provoked this white boy's anger to become threatening in a very confrontational manner to the point of shooting her 3 times, and one of those fatal shots landing her in the eye. And so these are the accounts that a lot of you may know or a lot of you may not know. But my first question is, again, how did I rebuke you in the name of Jesus become a death threat? How did I rebuke you in the name of Jesus become a death threat or indicator for violence towards someone or something? When did it become that? This so-called country is supposed to be founded on freedom of speech, but yet her freedom of speech got her killed. Her freedom of speech caused her to lose her life. Her freedom of speech put her in a very compromising and deadly situation. My second question, why didn't this super scary cop pull out the taser, as I mentioned before, instead of his sidearm if he felt that threatened by water and being rebuked by Jesus? That's the first thing you're supposed to do if you see that the other person that you're coming to see about doesn't have any gun or knife in their hand. She just had a pot of water. If you look at the video, you see that they were several yards apart of each other. Even if she did happen to throw it, which she didn't, she did not throw any water. But even if she did, he still had enough time to get away. So my thing is, why didn't you pull out your taser first? If you felt that threatened, you super duper goofy scary cop. My next question is, according to policeofficer.org, concerning conflict resolution, de-escalation techniques for police officers, the following is stated. Officers must know how to use non-threatening gestures, body language, and facial expressions. Likewise, officers must choose their words carefully, using active listening and empathy to communicate effectively and diffuse volatile situations. Moreover, officers must avoid confrontational language and tone, which can escalate conflicts. Well, we can already see, according to their manual, Deputy Sean Grayson acted outside the scope of his authority and became the very fear that Sonia's mother didn't want sent to assist her daughter. Now, do you think if Sonya Massey would have not came home 2 days later and completed her 30-day inpatient treatment program, do you believe she would still be here physically? I do. I believe if she would have completed her 30-day inpatient treatment program, she would still be with us today. But for whatever reason, she felt that, maybe I don't need to be here. But I know if she would have completed it, I don't know how these treatment programs work, but my thing is again, this is why I said I'm talking to my black family. We have to keep black problems in the black community. We have to start taking accountability for each other. If someone was actually taking accountability for her, then they would have known that she left and did not complete her 30-day program and said, no, don't let her out. She needs to be there. She needs this help. And they would have been a support system. Where was her support system? Where? If you know that she fears police, why didn't we keep this from happening? We have to start taking accountability for each other. If you see your brother or sister in a bad situation, whether it's mental issues, drinking, drugs, well, all of these things are related to mental issues. We don't never do nothing. We laugh at them. We make light of it. We make jokes about it. We talk about them. And then when something happens to them, we act like we care. Now we care. No, you should have tried to do something when you solved the problem. Don't try to do something when the problem, concerning the problem, when they've already taken their life. It's too late now. It's a little too late now. That should have been the first priority when you saw it happening. Anytime I see any of my brothers or sisters in those situations, I do my best to plant some kind of seed in them to spark some kind of fire to make them want to change. Even when they'll say, well, brother, can you give me $5 just to get a beer? I'll tell them, no, I'm not going to help add to your problem. You can hate me for that, but I'm going to love you anyway. I'm not going to help contribute to your problem. What I'm trying to do is to give you the opportunity to better yourself. The opportunity to better yourself, no matter what situation. But it takes more than me. It takes more than you. You know the saying, it takes a village to raise a family. We as a whole, or as many of us that are willing, we need to start taking more accountability for our people. Start with your community. Start with your community. Look at the kids. Now, I will say some people are just too far gone. Some people, it may not work. but it doesn't hurt to try. Keyword, try. But if you're trying too hard and it's just not working, let it go, because it'll only start frustrating you in the long run, okay? But if my main goal is the youth, I know some people you have to write off, some of our people you have to write off, but the youth, they're still impressionable. They're still gullible, where you can talk to them and try to spark some kind of fire within them to change. So we don't want to give up on our people. You know, I think we all can agree that Sean Grayson is a coward who is emotionally unstable himself. That's no doubt about it. Nobody can prove me wrong on that. And he deserves everything coming his way. Everything coming his way. People, do you think it's past time for these police stations to reevaluate their manual when it comes to situations that involve mentally unstable people? I do, without a shadow of a doubt. I think it's past time. We've had far too many examples of these interactions and altercations with our people who are mentally unstable, and the approach is not correct based on the situation. It's not. It needs to be reevaluated, their manual, ASAP. So again, I just wanted to talk on the issue that I didn't hear much about concerning this situation and many concerning her mental illness. And so according to the American Psychological Association, in their discussion on mental health disparities among racial and ethnic minorities, the prevalence of SMI, or serious mental illness, data in 2016 was highest among American Indian / Alaskan natives with 4.9%, Hispanics with 3.6%, white people with 4.8%, and black people with 3.1%. Did y'all hear these statistics? Black people were the lowest with 3.1%. And even with that 3.1%, we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to talk about our issues because, again, we think in our mind, or been conditioned, or have conditioned ourselves to think we don't want to be a burden to nobody. It's normal. It's normal for me to feel this way. It's normal for me to have problems and situations. It's normal, man. It's normal for me to just work, pay bills, and die. It's normal. No, again, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. My black family, my black community, my beautiful, divine brothers and sisters, it's not normal. Stop making it a normal part of your life. It's not normal. We need to start taking accountability for our own people. Keep black problems in the black community. Start with where you are. Reach out to our people. If you see them in those situations, again, I'm not saying put yourself in a stressful situation, because there's some of our people that you just have to write them off because they're just too far gone. I get that. But the ones that are not, what excuse do you have? For the children that are still impressionable, for the children who are still gullible and still have time to spark that fire within them to get them to change or give them something to really think about, what excuse do we have? None. Let's stop belittling each other, making light of each other's situations when it comes to mental illness, joking about it. It's time out for that. And then when something happens to them, you want to act like you concerned. You want to act like you care. You want to act like you want to be a solution to the problem. No, start now. Start now while you see it. Together, we can make a difference now. The highest of the percentage being female, according to gender. The highest percentage of mental illness, according to the data in 2016, is highest amongst females, according to gender. The ages range from 18 to 50 plus. The lowest percentage belonging to Asian people. That's another topic for another time, but it's not surprising that the lowest percentage belonging to Asian people. Then non-Hispanic. But 7.5% was found among individuals who reported 2 or more races, like a mixed race. So what do you think is the cause of this high rate mental issue in women, specifically black women? What do you think is the cause of this high rate mental issue in women, especially black women? What do you think is the cause? Me, myself, just to name a few. Some of you may agree, some of you may not agree. Definitely the stimuli, or the environment that the black woman is in. A lot of our black women are in abusive relationships. That's another story for another topic. They're in abusive relationships, whether they create the environment or the environment is created. they're in abusive relationships. They might have been, another reason, they may have been molested as a child, sexually abused. These are some factors. And even then with those factors that are very serious, they cause mental damage, which leads to mental illnesses, which leads to mental instability. And a lot of times when these things are happening to young girls, even young boys, but I'm particularly talking about young girls right now, young black girls, is that they stay quiet because a lot of times they don't want to get uncle or daddy or their cousin, their male cousin. They don't want to get them in trouble. So they keep quiet. And after a while, the pain becomes numb and they just make it a normal part of their life until they get older and get in relationships with other men outside of those men who mentally damage them and physically damage them. And that's when it comes out. That's when it comes out, all the aggression that they've been holding. So my listening audience, my black community, what are your thoughts on preventive measures that the black community can use to keep our people safe in regard to dealing with many of us who are mentally and emotional unstable? You know, what are your views on that? What are your thoughts on preventive measures concerning that? Okay. So thanks again for bringing your energy to the show, for y'all listening, for y'all interacting, for those who will, for those who will look at this later and interact. Thank you for bringing your energy. Thank you for bringing your solutions to the show. And this is a very sensitive topic. I'm really holding back a lot. Not that I'm scared to speak my mind, because I ain't, but I just want to be more on track when I speak on these topics in the future. I want to be more disciplined in my approach to it and not just allowing my emotions to take the best of me, because it can easily happen with sensitive topics like this. I will say this. Any of my beautiful, divine black sisters who are listening to me right now, and even my divine, beautiful black brothers, if you're listening to me right now, and you're going through a mental crisis or mental illness, reach out to someone in your family, someone that you can trust that will take accountability for you. And if you don't have those options, then reach out to me. Inbox me. I'm easy to get a hold of. You ain't got to worry about nobody knowing about what we talk about, baby, because that's going to be between me and you. I'll listen to you. That is no problem. That is part of my gift. That is part of my calling. Okay? We have to start taking accountability for each other once again and keep it that way. Keep black problems in the black community. Start taking accountability for each other so we don't have any more Sonya Masseys. So we don't have any more uncalled for black killings. And I'm talking about not just a white on black. I'm talking about a black on black too. We need to start handling our issues at a different rate, a different pace, a different mindset, and a different conclusion. These are all factors that, if not played out correctly, they can lead to deadly consequences that are unnecessary. I love you all. And remember, black is beautiful, and so are you. Until next time. Bad is good, straight up confusion. Time is of the essence, so timing for me is critical. Living like it's over. Drinking till I'm sober. Thinking life is crazy. Will I even